We're on chapter 6 of the Purple Book talking about discipleship and leadership. And here's a simple definition of discipleship that I want you to understand as we begin. Discipleship is the process of somebody going from spiritual immaturity to spiritual maturity. Let me say that again. Discipleship is the process of going from spiritual immaturity to spiritual maturity. When I think about my son Jonathan, he's 1 year old now. When he was just born, we would track him on different stages to make sure that he was growing based on the right timeline and path. Is he developing in the right way? And us as believers also have to do the same thing. When we get born again and are saved, that is only the beginning of our journey of following Christ and growing in our faith and growing as believers. And so when we are first saved, we tend to be and are quite spiritually immature. And it's only as we walk with believers who are more mature than us that take the time to invest in our lives and help us grow, do we see ourselves move along that process of immaturity to maturity. And that is really what discipleship is. It's not a program. It is not a curriculum. It is not a set of classes and leadership lessons. What discipleship is that it's a relationship. It's as we walk with other believers who are further ahead of us. And as they impart and invest and build up our life, together we are all becoming better followers of Christ. The goal of every good Christian is to be a disciple and to make disciples, which is why Jesus in Matthew chapter 28 goes and he tells his disciples the Great Commission. All authority on heaven and on earth has been given to me, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and catch this, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. So Jesus is telling his disciples, now go into the world, number one, make disciples, but teach them to obey my commands. And that is the reality and the process of discipleship. I go into the world and to the people around me, I tell them about Jesus. I walk with them in some of the doubts and questions and fears and concerns they have when it comes to believing in Jesus. But then I also guide them in what does it practically look like to obey Jesus. And collectively, we are all on this journey of becoming more like Christ, which is why Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. That is the invitation of discipleship. I hope that as Christians, we are not only good disciples ourselves, but we are also walking along with others in helping them be good disciples. Now, what does that look like? To help others be a good disciple means that I care for the people in my life. Every time I hang out with them, I talk about life, we talk about sports, we talk about food and other things going on, but we also talk about faith. In fact, most importantly, we talk about faith. How's our Bible reading going? Are we struggling with anything? Are we obeying God in the areas of our life? What are some of the doubts that we face and how do we overcome it? And as we have these practical conversations, where through those conversations, not only are we building relationship with each other, but collectively we are building relationship with God. That's the process of discipleship. It's through those spiritual friendships. Jesus spent 3 years of his life with his disciples. There's little evidence that he had a training program for them. They just spent life together. And as life happened, they would connect it back to faith. Connect it back to what does it truly mean to live a life that honors God. In the way we are students, in the way we manage our life as single professionals, in the way we treat our money, the way we work our jobs, the way we pursue relationships and marriage, the way we treat our family, the way we raise our kids, the way we come to church, the way we serve in church. Everything has discipleship implications. And it's through those relationships in our life that we become better followers of Jesus. But the invitation also that Jesus gives us is now, how are you doing this for others? I have a responsibility to disciple my kids. Yes, they will go to kids' church, but discipleship is first my job. I have the responsibility to disciple my younger friends who are probably new to the faith and wrestling with some of the challenges that I wrestled with years ago. And as we live lives where we're not just trying to follow Jesus in isolation by ourselves, but as we live lives where we are collectively following Jesus and we're helping others follow Jesus, something about that makes us strong in our faith. Many times, and especially with the 21st century modern day thinking, we expect that we will grow in our faith by isolating ourselves and making faith in God just this personal practice. But that is the opposite of the Bible. Yeah, we should spend time praying by ourselves. Yes, we should spend time reading the Bible by ourselves. But along with that, the way to grow in our faith is being rooted in community, by being served, by being led, but also by serving and leading others. And that's the process of discipleship. I hope that each one of us would not only be good disciples, but also make disciples. Let your life be fruitful. Don't limit yourself to just saying, I will follow God myself. But as you help others follow God, you will realize how much He is giving you breakthroughs and strengthening you. And you will see victory after victory. Because we're called to follow and we're called to bring along.